You'll be close by.
Is that right?
Okay. In 1841, Oliver Hazard Perry Dakin, I called him Perry, purchased 125 acres near Sabina, what we know as Dakin Chapel Road. A school was located on the grounds, and he taught there for several years.
And there's the school. And there's the township, Wilson, Richland Township line. So it just sits over the line.
Yeah. That was the frame building that was just taken down several years ago. Was that the frame building that was just taken down 2 years ago?
Yeah. We're coming to that.
Okay, sorry.
This we got into. Yeah, and then this is, over here is Richland. And they show the Methodist Church in Richland. They show it here in Richland, but I don't think it was actually in Richland. I think it was in Wilson. I'll show you that region before. And we were talking about Spurgeon. Here's Susan Spurgeon here, and over here, which comes off of this back here. Yeah.
So sometime in the 1890s, a new brick school building was erected. The old wooden school building was moved to the Daughtery Farm to be used as a storage building. It still had the blackboards on the walls. But Jean Daughtery passed away in 1981. The farm was sold, and the old schoolhouse needed too much repair, so it was torn down.
Yeah, that's what you were talking about. I was in this building when I was little.
I remember you talking about playing on the blackboard.
Yeah, right. The blackboards were still hanging on the wall in the 60s and 70s, and I was in there. And never knew it was the old schoolhouse that was down the road.
Yeah.
I just talked about this building. I know it was a retired school teacher, and she was the sweetest lady, and she made the best orange drop cookies there ever could be in a cold stove. She cooked them on.
And she had a lot of history of that area.
Oh, I know. The Daughtery's do it for that, yes. But this is where she parked her car, and it was like a 55 Chevy. And she would put it in reverse and just back out on the road. You don't do that today on Dakin Chapel. You get run over. But back then, it was not a problem. She was a sweet lady.
Was that Ken Daughtry's,
Huh?
is that Ken Daughtry's grandmother?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not grandmother. Great aunt.
She never had any children.
No.
What you're talking about.
Right.
It was her brother's children.
Her brother was her Marvin. I know in DeWitt, where brother and sister lived there until they both died. And their brother Marvin moved down the road in the little house, and that's Kent's grandparents.
Yeah. He raised his family, good sized family in the little house, and she lived in the big house with the family, half by herself.
Yeah.
After DeWitt died.
When I was little, I spent a lot of time in that house with Ino and DeWitt. So, yeah.
I used to talk to her about history stuff. She was good about it. She remembered everything.
Oh, she was keen. Yes, very, very smart cat.
Okay, and this is a group of students that attended the Dakin Chapel School in the early 1900s. And no picture has been found of the whole building. You can see the door, you can see.
Huh?
Oh, I was just saying you can see the door.
The door? Oh, the doors.
That's double doors.
Double doors. Front set,
Yeah.
and then another set back in there. When Joe Saville did this, he did not know there was any other pictures of the school in existence. So, hold on to that thought. Some of the kids in here. Helen Strong Sparks.
Oh, yeah. Knew her well.
Louise Strong Chance.
Yeah.
Al's grandmother.
Sure.
Yeah, right there. This is Stanley Johnson that had Johnson's Dry Cleaners.
He graduated in 1918 along with my father.
1918.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were always good friends.
Where's Mrs. Dunn?
And I figure somewhere in this group must be Burness too.
Was she from here?
That was his sister.
Oh, I'm talking about his wife. What was her name then? I thought-
Oh, his wife Westbrook. She was a wolf.
Yeah.
She was Jack Wolf's sister.
Okay, yeah. there we go.
No, I can't. Oh, Eleanor. Eleanor.
Was that it?
His sister was Eleanor.
Oh, I didn't know what his sister was.
Eleanor Peel. She married Miles Peel.
Oh, Mary Miles, that was his.
That was his sister.
Okay, maybe that's why they were so good friends.
Right. And Eleanor has to be in there somewhere. This one. Dana Sparks.
Remember him, well,
And then we go over here. This one is Ruth Sparks Fenner. Mrs. Fenner, the teacher.
oh, yeah.
Which one are you?
This one,
I was down the road, I wasn't in that.
that was Charlie Sparks.
I was,
Oh, that's right.
I don't know why that old school.
And then we go back to this one. That one is Imo Daugherty. Imo and DeWitt were tall.
Yeah,
Marvin was tall.
yeah, he was.
She has to be Imo. So, but looking at the back, I figured those aren't students. Those have to be some of the parents.
Might be. Wouldn't have been teachers, they only had one teacher for all.
Huh?
Said they only had one teacher for all, and they can't have been teachers. in most
Exactly.
of them.
It doesn't say which one was the teacher, but I figured some of those might be in the parents to these
I bet
kids.
they were. Yeah, I bet they were.
They also had horse-drawn school carriages.
Oh, yeah.
Some of those could have been people who drove those.
Yeah, I just wish we knew who some of the others were. This one amazes me. If this is a little sister to somebody.
They brought them so they get their picture taken.
Yeah,
Or maybe some of them were parents up there and they brought another.
exactly. Who knows? I just found that picture fascinating.
It is. It's a neat picture.
Now,
Oh, read.
yeah.
The new Dakin Chapel School, number 5, is painted by Dana L. Sparks. This is the only known picture of the school that it currently exists. And it's owned by Paul Glass, and it's on his wall in his living room.
I figure since Dana painted that, it had to be pretty accurate. Because it says, Dakin Chapel number 5 at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Perspective is good, yeah. It's kind of
And
one.
that was one of Dana Sparks' paintings.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Right, there's this ELS right there.
uh-huh. Great.
So I figure that's the only known existing painting of the school. There's no other picture known anywhere. It's got the pump in there, but I'm going to question that pump there later on.
And the school's torn down now?
Huh?
The school's gone?
Yes, yes. We'll come to that later, why it's gone, maybe.
Okay, the pump is still standing at the edge of the field where the first Woodland School building stood.
This is still standing out there.
Oh, yeah.
And then the stone that was over the front door of the brick school building, and it was found on Alfred Kendall's farm in 1975, and it was being used as a step into the building. But you found it turned over.
It was turned down so you couldn't see the writing on it. It was that way for years. And one day they moved the building and turned it over, and there it was. So,
Do you have it?
huh?
Do you still have it?
Oh, yeah. It's out there at Dad's house. He put a wood frame around it to protect it. So,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, so we know. And I figured that's the year the building was built, 1898.
The other, and what one was the other, the building in Richland Township, where was it built? The frame?
The frame one, it was right at the end of that Mom and
About
Dad's
that same
lane.
time. And they were so close together, that's why it's been so strange, even though they were in different
Yeah.
townships.
Well, see here, you can see the Methodist church here and the school is right there.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, 1857, Perry Dakin donated ground on Dakin Chapel Pike for a church. And the chapel was still in use as of April 1891, because a clipping was found from the Sabina News that announced a guest preacher.
There it is.
There's small glasses.
You want me to read that?
This is all that, yeah, because you know what's what, so.
This is all that remains of the Dakin Chapel. It was moved from its original location to the farm now owned by Paul Glass. The chapel has been altered to be used as a garage and a storage shed. There are barn doors on each end of the building. As you go out, there's Paul's homestead, and there it is.
Yeah.
And there are doors on each end, and on the side next to the house, there's a sliding door, and they use it as a garage.
Because they're always taking such good care of it, it's lasted all these years.
It's lasted. Of course, it's been altered on the inside.
Yeah.
You know, the frame is basically there. But they did put the siding on it and protected the wood.
It's
So,
taken care of it.
yeah, not many people realize the chapel's still
And
there.
it sat back in the field before they brought it up there, didn't it?
I don't remember it being back in the field.
I was thinking they chartered, some of them told me once it was back in the field, they used it for something, and then they brought it up there, but I might be wrong.
There used to be a big old barn stand way back in the field.
Yeah, but
Go
they-
back that driveway.
They didn't do it though, did they?
No, there was a barn and house that
Yeah.
stood way back in there
Yeah.
on the Spurgeon land. Yeah. This is the spot that's right across from my dad's end of the driveway. You drive off a bit right into the field. There's that little round spot there. And there's where the pump is in the field next to the driveway, and there's the round spot. And they're both in Wilson Township because the line was on the side of the driveway, on the other side, not Sabina side. My theory is the wooden school stood here. The chapel stood there. And then when sometime after 1891, the chapel ceased to exist. And so they decided to build a new brick school. They built it across the road, moved the chapel and built it across the road. Because for years, when we farmed that's nothing but rock and brick. Brick comes up out of the ground every year. So I figure that's where the brick school's built. Then after they moved into the new school, they moved the old one down the road to Imo's. Because they didn't want to move it until they were done with, while the kids were still in school. So, that's just my theory, because there's no debris in this field here. There never has been, but it's been always across the road.
Well, because Paul told me they were both over there, and his dad took the one, and then Imo got the other.
Right.
He doesn't know who shows what, but,
Right.
he knows, but he didn't know.
He doesn't know how they chose it.
No,
Who
one
got
took
it?
one and she took the other.
Other than they were the landowners there and been there for a while. So, you want to bring that piece?
Pink couplet was from the Dakin Chapel. And he gave it to the historical. It was Dakin Chapel Pike. It would be known as Sabina Road. Upon hearing this change, Theobald Dakin, who was Perry's attorney grandson, came enraged, went before the commissioners, and as we know, it's still Dakin Chapel.